In the last tier list I made, I did not include Skarner at all, because I figured I needed to test him out a little bit more before I gave an opinion. And some people did not understand that and asked me, where's Skarner? Even though I explained this in the first 2 paragraphs. Anyways, after a month and a half of him being now in this condition, I finally am going to give you guys my opinion. I mean, if you've seen my Twitter and Facebook, I've already ranted about it there a little bit, but here's the big gist of it. He's fucking garbage. I mean, you didn't need me to tell you this, but like I wanted to give it a shot. Now, I need to be very, very, clear on this. He's still strong in certain aspects. His damage is still high. He still duels like a beast, and his clearing is slightly better. That's kind of okay. His E's not as useless as before, but that's not actually saying a lot, because his E was pretty much completely useless. So his E, in fact, sucks right now, and I hate the fucking skill, and I'll explain why right now. Skarner did need a nerf. He desperately needed a nerf, because otherwise it'd be impossible to balance him. He had too high damage, and his ability to pin one person down was ridiculous. A lot of the other aspects about Skarner sucked, but these two in combination just made him too stupid if he actually was ever, useful in a game. Right now, one of the worst things about Skarner is that, like, he may be strong in some aspects and whatever, but he's pretty much a pointless character. There's no reason to pick him at all. Hell, I could actually justify picking Hecarim over Skarner. They're very similar in what they end up doing, but Skarner is just worse off than Hecarim is right now. What are the new things about Skarner that I absolutely despise? Well, for starters, his E is fucking stupid. I hate that I have to level this ability. It was terrible before, and it's terrible now. It's easy to miss. It's easy to dodge. So you're never going to get that slow. In combination with all his other stuff, that just makes it even worse. His W ramps up super slow, and then it gets to the high speed, and then it wears off, so you're back to being as slow as hell. And his Q is just a damage steroid. It doesn't do anything anymore. It's just for fighting. So if you don't have mobility from your W, and if you don't have reliable mobility at least, and if you don't have a slow that can be applied easily, and it also has a stupid high cooldown so you don't get any second chances, then your Q is pointless. You can have all the damage in the world, but if you can't actually apply it, then it doesn't fucking matter. In some of these clips, you will see the old footage of the Skarner. I mean, the footage of the old Skarner. How much control he asserts over a target, and how much his sustained damage can actually be applied because he's able to pin someone down. The new Skarner can't do that. In a fight, they just get away from him. He misses his E, they go away. He hits his E, it wears off, they scamper off, and he really can't do anything unless he's got a red buff. Or he has other items to manage his deficiencies, like CDR, to make his E actually useful. Or, the Frozen Gauntlet thing, so he can actually have a slow. But that's terrible to have a jungler that needs to have an item to actually do something. Skarner is in a terrible position, and it's all because Riot was too fucking lazy and reworking him. They really were lazy. I can't rationalize in any way. Or let's just make his E a slow and then remove power from all his other abilities. If you guys don't know, Skarner has always had terrible initiation. He had quote-unquote strong initiation before because he was able to jump on somebody and grab them and they couldn't escape. It was only because that whole couldn't escape thing that it actually made it reasonable. He could grab them and kill them on his own. But now he can't really kill a lot of people on his own, and they can escape his grab. And back then, in fact, it was easier to land a stupid thing because you had other things that amplified it. You had a better W. You had Shurelias that you can build on Skarner. You had a lot of other mobility options. Now you don't. They've nerfed a lot of things that made it easy. And they've made it, and if you actually manage to hit the fucking predictable ultimate, then, they can still escape with a blink. Remember, if you see a Skarner use your W heading towards you, you know he's going to try to grab you. If you see him try to shoot his E at you, you know he's trying to land it, so trying to use his ultimate as well. So you're just going to blink out as soon as he gets within range of you. Yeah, that's, you burn a flash, but now you either just pelt at him from a distance or the whole initiation is avoided. Or worse off yet, just a fat tank gets in front of him and knocks him away or CCs him and then he gets blown up. Skarner's never had really good initiation. He's had strong peeling, but and he's kind of kept that, but not initiation. In comparison to Hecarim, which they end up doing the same thing, having high sustained damage, being late game oriented bruisers, and having some form of tank thing, Hecarim ends up doing better because his ultimate is at least reliable. You point and click and it does things. Skarner's, you gotta run up, you gotta have assistance, you gotta have mobility up the ass, you gotta have that whole surprise factor on a target that has no blink or anything. So yeah, Skarner is just pretty much a pointless champion. He has strong features that are strong, but there's no reason to even pick him. So what could Riot do to buff him? Well, for starters, they could make his E a lot less pointless and stupid. Right now, he's got a huge weakness in that he has to level up all 3 of his abilities. If you don't level up Q, you leave it at rank 1, you do no damage. W, you have no mobility, and you are also more fragile than before. E, if you don't level that up, you have a shitty, useless ultimate on a super high cooldown. I figure they need to make his E his 1-point wonder again. Or, well, in the past, it used to be a 0-point wonder, but now they should make it a 1-point wonder. In fact, the idea was that if it hits a target, it applies a crystalline debuff on them. Every Q strike on Skarner will add another stack on it. The first stack, the one you just get from shooting them with the ass laser, adds 1 point and makes them slightly slow, like, I don't know, 10-15%. Then you hit with Q, it increases that slow. Up until 3 Qs, then it shatters. When it shatters, it deals bonus damage to the target, but now also the slow debuff goes away. So essentially, every Q strike slowly cripples them until they are almost to a crawl, and if he hits them again with a Q, it shatters and deals a lot of damage. But now at least they have a chance to run away because they're no longer crippled. He would have to reapply his E and then start the whole phase all over again. I figured that's, a pretty good idea for Skarner. Hell, they could even add the function with his ultimate. Use your E on a target and then use your ultimate, and it immediately blows up the stacks and causes damage to the target. So it's like, oh look, he's got actual damage when he uses ultimate, considering he can't auto attack, and which defeats the purpose of his new Q, which revolves all around auto attacking. In short, he still needs a rework. That new E is useless. Add some power to his W to make that less useless. Remove the whole ramp up and just make W1 static movement speed at all ranks. Because right now it's one of the most worthless gap closers ever. Shyvana's is better, and hers is. Point is, Skarner is still usable. He still has a function. I mean, he still functions within himself, but there's no reason to pick him. Nothing unique about him anymore. And even though perma-slow wasn't that unique to begin with, it's just Hecarim is better, as hard as that is to say, considering how weak he is right now. Hecarim is better. Shyvana is better. So don't pick Skarner until these issues are addressed, or until everybody else is nerfed then and somehow makes Skarner a better pick.